Well, good morning, Saints. It's time for Good News at 9. Today, John chapter 5, we find Jesus has healed a man. The man had been in a state of paralysis for 38 years, and now Jesus has set him free from his paralysis. Jesus finds the man in the temple, and we don't know exactly what was going on, but we do know the interchange. Jesus says to the man, "Stop sinning so that something worse doesn't happen to you." We're not told what the sin was. We're not told the details of the circumstance, but we do know this, that Jesus regards sin as something that's very serious and potentially completely debilitating. Because we might say, well, what could be worse than living in a body that for 38 years had not worked? Imagine 38 years locked in a body of paralysis. That's bad. And Jesus is saying that if you don't stop sinning, then something worse may happen to you. Meaning that there could be a paralysis of the person worse than a physical paralysis. What was he talking about? Well, he was talking about a ruined soul, a wrecked soul. We know that a wrecked soul is much worse than a wrecked body. Neither one can we do anything about in terms of humanity. A human cannot heal another person of long-term paralysis physically, and we can't do that for another person's soul. What we can do is prevent our own soul from getting in that condition by choosing to live a life of holiness rather to be involved in habitual sin. So Jesus was steering this man away from a life of habitual sin and saying to him rather to follow a path of holiness. So there's a message in that for us. We talk a lot of times about physical ailments, but Jesus says there's an ailment worse than a physical ailment, and that is an ailment of the soul, a paralysis of the soul, if you will, that is brought about by habitual sin. So let's do what Jesus said. Let's not get into a life of habitual sin where we're practicing a particular habit or disposition. Maybe it's an addiction, but to stay away from those things, to steer clear of those things through the guidance of Jesus Christ and His Word and His Spirit. He has empowered us to be able to do that. So let's choose that path instead. Let's choose the path that Jesus advised, and let's not get involved in a pattern of or practice of sinning that has the potential to wreck our soul. Let's follow Jesus with our whole heart, mind, and strength instead. You know what I say? Get her done.